Cloud9 seem to be showing some of their former form after having a really lackluster performance yesterday. Nothing had a great map, and there's the smiles and the hearts across the board. But Optic didn't really show up. Dust2 is next, and Cloud9 will be favorites to take that too. Optic have their work cut out for them.
They certainly do, especially when Cloud9 look fired up. You can see nothing with his antics, as usual, right? The class clown, you know, he likes to keep the team cheerful. Now, he's said that in the past, right? And then Cloud9, or rather Optic, just the defeat. That was like one of the most defeated headset removals I've ever seen. Just there wasn't anything there. There was no soul in it.
Yeah, body language-wise, they already look beaten, to be honest.
And we're going into Dust2 now,
yeah,
which is going to be Cloud9's map. They picked it. They're good at it. And will Optic be able to find something in themselves here to get some kind of fight going? That's the thing. That's what we're wondering here. Optic, where are you? You're a tough team. You've got some aimers on this team. Tarek, I mean, Mixwell. What is going on that's actually stopping you from being able to take the fight to Cloud9? Because right now, it's Ska with excellent clutches on the first map to carry Cloud9 through. Automatic, Stewie, everybody doing their jobs. So it has to come down to Optic. They have to disrupt this Cloud9 machine. Deflate it, you know, bring out the sun, burn it away.
Has to start right here, right now. They're starting on the T side, and Cloud9 already with a lot of presence through mid. They've gone up catwalk. This is information passed across, and in the meanwhile, Optic will be forcing their way onto B. They are going to be up against Stewie.
Oh, this is going to be tough for young Stu. Whoa, or not. Nice first headshot. Goes for a little bit of a repeat. Spots them out. And now they know exactly what's coming. He'll eventually get caught by Nafly, but still, the damage is done for one trade. Automatic is close, and nothing in Shroud. Managed to take over Upper Dark very quickly here. A lot of damage being dealt. It's just an all-out run and gun, straight up brawl.
Just back and forth between the teams. Skadoodle now is going to land himself a one-tap. Tarek comes in with one of his own, and Stanislaw's tapping away, but he runs out of bullets. That is so awkward. He's somehow still alive and could potentially clutch this, but Automatic is having none of it. Stu with that opening one-tap set things in motion. If he died without getting any kills, Optic would have been in great shape.
Exactly. That's what they were looking for, Optic, and it was ideal as well, but Stewie, he's just that quick. And well, now Optic, they're going to have to try and dig themselves up again. They at least get the bomb plant. They have that to fall back on. They'll be able to pick up rifles in the next round. But Cloud9, that's the kind of round that's going to get you fired up and ready to go. I mean, another close round. They had all of the close rounds on Overpass go their way for Cloud9. So if that keeps happening here for Dust2, Optic's morale is just going to be shattered. And look at this. Stewie, he's not going to let up. Just a booted heel coming down on Optic's neck at this point. Peekaboo.
Into two. And they do actually get him down, which is surprising. Rush with 2 health will land it with the Tech 9. But again, this is where the weapon should start to shine. Scout, of course, and Dust2. No huge surprises there, getting that pick in the second round. Fantastic weapon. Even in full-on buys, it's still pretty solid. That nade could have damage written all over it.
It catches the edge, though. That's a shame.
Yep, unlucky. Just CS nade things. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to see how Optic can burst out from this kind of a scenario. You've got Rush that's very low, just a flash to play with now.
At least they have the flash. Now it's all going to be like, where do you use that flash? Is Rush going to carry it over to Catwalk? Stanislaw is hoping to catch somebody, get greedy over here on B site. And it looks like Automatic spotted the movement. So there is a little bit of information there. That actually prompts a rotation from nothing into CT to try and stop to be in position for a B split if Optic were trying for it. But instead, it looks like Optic want to take the fight to long. 40 seconds left. The MP7 has been picked up by Stanislaw. And Rush still has that flash. He's going to use it now. Out it goes. Pops. And while Scott was full blind, but he's still playing an angle, and it gets a great shot. Massive damage dealt.
Actually goes out for a peek and lands another shot as well, this time onto Tarek. And where Skadoodle starts off, nothing will finish. Optic with just the 1 kill. That is rough. Not even a bomb plant. But it is going to be a case.
So no bonus nades, really. Yeah. That's the issue. Mixwell, everybody's going to try and get that smoke. And Stanislaw even going so far as to skimp on the helmet. But it is a very light buy here for Optic. They have AKs, they have a handful of nades. And let's see, because Cloud9 is fully bought up and ready to go. They want to dance. Rush and Stanislaw very quick into Upper Dark. They might be able to take a fight because they're going to go super aggro here, Cloud9. 1-for-1 trade until Stewie steps into the fight, picks up the second kill, and Cloud9 come out ahead. It's Mixwell, Nafly, and Tarek, the last 3 alive here for Optic Gaming. They do have mid control. But now you can see Mixwell worried about there being some kind of further push in Upper Dark. Looks like Optic want to move back over here.
And this is where the lack of bomb plant hurts as well. They only have one smoke to work off, really. They've got flashes, sure, but they'd love to have smokes to maybe fake off into mid, throw one on the CT side, keep the CTs interested in mid while they aggress onto B. This is very one-dimensional now. We've already seen what Stewie's capable of in previous rounds. I like that he goes back under the sanctuary of a bit of cover. It buys valuable time for the rest of Cloud9 to wrap themselves around, especially as two of them are still on A site. So they're playing this one safe instead of needlessly aggressive. Can definitely respect that.
Yeah, this could still work out because they do get that man advantage, Stewie. He gets traded, but he takes one with him. Now it's on Nafly to try and make something magical happen here in Upper Dark. There's the flash, steps out and nearly gets it. But again, Cloud9 maintained the man advantage on Mixwell now to try and spot the man on B slope. And I think he just barely saw him. Yep, now he knows that Skadoodle is on the site itself. And so he can be a little bit of a thorn in their side. But they're going to pick up on that real quick, Cloud9, and they even have to smoke to block him off. Nightmarish. The timing, though, works perfectly, and Scott doesn't have a kit. He has to find the kit fast here. He's just trying to stick this defuse, and Mixwell right through the smoke, gets the angle correct. Not going to happen, though. Scott right back, fires. 3-0 lead now for Cloud9.
Very unfortunate, though, at the end, because Skadoodle was getting wrecked through that smoke until he spun around and lands the headshot. And yeah, 3-0. 4 weapons were lost in that bomb plant, plus the fact that they've shredded through some of the economy may put Optic into a situation here where they may even go for a buy, but I'd expect more just pistol upgrades, maybe some Deagles with Kevlar, some Tech-9s in Kevlar, more of a half-buy scenario. We have lost a player, hence the pause, but here it is from Mixwell. Very nearly connected on the second shot. It's coming up right now. Crosshairs all around the head, but not quite on point. Skadoodle will return the favor.
Yeah, a very quick pause there. Just a little bit of a snafu. It's sorted out real quick. Rush just had to reconnect. And both teams are ready. Countdown has begun, and it is going to be a mix of pistols and nades here for Optic Gaming. Kevlar as well. But Cloud9, they're the ones with the massive advantage here in this round. They have all the rifles. So let's say it's going to be the pick from Skadoodle in mid. Not going to spot anybody out just yet, even though that bomb is waiting in Suicide. Stanislaw rotates off, and Nothing and Shroud taking a bit of a fight over here at Long. Scary scenario there for Nothing. He actually just gets rushed down, and Shroud flashed white, not able to help him out whatsoever. Taking a lot of damage as well there in the meantime. It's just a very quick play here from Optic. Finally, they try to change it up, and it's working. Rush takes down Stewie.
So far, so good. It's just got a whole lot better. Rush is going to pick off automatics. He tries to traverse through mid. What can Skadoodle get done in this situation? He's got a USP in the AWP, of course, but close proximity to a whole bunch of players, and Shroud lands a one-tap, but it's not good enough. Optic on the scoreboard finally. And as a result of Cloud9 losing 4 players and then getting beaten there, their economy is now in the dumpster.
Well, this should actually get Optic fired up a little bit because they have had a lot of slow plays, not too many rushes, not too many aggro sorts of scenarios for them. And so now actually just throwing chance to win. That's what you can see sometimes when a team goes for Tech-9 Kevlar, something on clicks, they take the round a little bit less seriously, and because of that, they actually win the round. Stewie gonna get tagged up through the doors at mid. Mixwell, too quick for him right now. Even attempts to go back for more. Stewie playing with fire.
Not quite getting burnt, though. He is still alive with the scout, and although he's on 34 health, it just takes that one headshot, which he's unable to deliver. Stanislaw does get tagged, but it's not the head. It's the body, so he's down to 31. And with Stewie's death, probably comes around for Optic. Automatic will pick up the scout, though, from his fallen teammate's corpse. Yeah, this is just business as usual for Optic. They're going to filter out through mids, execute onto A more than likely, and this round will be theirs.
There isn't really a whole lot that they can hope to do here, Cloud9. Shroud is still alive at Long. He's got a Deagle. So if somebody gets greedy on Optic and starts trying to peek Long, he could always try and go for the 1 Deag. Skadoodle rotating over and automatic as well. That bomb is going to get planted, and as I say it, there you go. What a shot from Nafly. Doesn't let Shroud get into it at all. Excellent work, and now it's just automatic holding on to the scout. He's not quite finding it. He does actually get the shot. They're all so low. Nafly, Stanislaw, the 3 of them low, and there's automatic. He actually does manage to find the shot onto Tarek, but it's not going to matter in the end. 3-2. Optic Gaming chaining rounds together, putting Cloud9 on the back foot. But the money still isn't there for Cloud9. They're going to have to be patient just a little bit longer. We should have a half buy in this round. An eco, basically, for Cloud9. And this is actually a pretty solid eco. Whereas now it's going to be Optic Gaming who have the edge, have the advantage. Tarek and Rush going into Upper Dark. Tarek hungry to find a kill. Not quite going to get it. And in the meantime, the rest of Optic just so patient, waiting everywhere. Very passive play, expecting Cloud9 to try and go for some aggro.
Yeah, I was curious to see if we'd see some kind of a stack here from Cloud9. In these kind of rounds, typically a lot of teams will go for that. And they have got somewhat of a stack on the A side, filtering out through mid and also catwalk. These nades are going to do some damage. It actually bounces off the wrong side of the wall, so not quite, but here comes the flash into push, and Nafly was caught in 2 minds. Neither of those players on catwalk and mid. So decent work for Cloud9 to take 2 players down with them.
There we go, and I do like this from Tarek. He gets a read on the situation. Figures that Stewie would have rotated into mid. Look to try and take the punish on that. Stewie, though, just putting some random shots through. That flash might buy just a little bit of time. And the bomb is currently rotated over here to the B site. Tarek will eventually take down Stewie, and Rush will find Skadoodle. It's all on Shroud now to make the difference, and he's coming in at window, really trying to take advantage of the fact that Rush is on 16 HP, but it's not going to happen for him. He gets hunted down, tied up now, 3-3. And Optic still look like they're at Sunday school. They're just not having a good time, man.
I'm curious, if they do start to edge ahead and start to get dominant, if that reaction will change. If we will start to see them get hyped and pumped, or it's going to be more of the same. Skadoodle does have an AWP as a result of a couple of ecos. This is where Optic could start to weigh down the CTs, when they could start to break that economy once more. Grenade's going to get exchanged. For the time being, Mixwell's going to come out worst of that trade, although Stewie does eat quite a lot of damage from the molly. Oof. Oh, that's nasty.
That's a nice nade on nothing. That definitely rung his bells, but still, it's just damage all over the place across the map right now, but no kills. Rush with the flash into mid, takes a little bit of a peek. And in the meantime, they're putting just a little bit of pressure on Upper Dark here, Cloud9, using their grenades to try and throw Tarek off guard. Little does he know, though, that young Stu is up on the boxes, so even if that smoke goes down, Automatic hoping to get lucky, nobody is there. And it's a minute left on this clock. Very slow play coming out here from Optic. They're very patient right now. Nothing. Going to go ahead and venture forth through long houses. He might set himself up if they do commit to the catwalk push. Nothing is going to hit that timing. Yep. Gets the read on it. He might be able to drop Rush in mid. This could be a huge flank coming in here from Nothing. Does Nafly look to top mid? Yes, he does. He's prepared for this push. And Nothing gets out of it without... Well, he gets nothing out of it.
Living up to his name. And it's something he does do a lot. So Optic clearly have been here before and dealt with it. Automatic with 2 could be good for a 3rd one. And smartly, Mixwell's like, okay, screw this noise. I'm on 27. Automatic's a monster. Let's not poke him. Automatic now is in prime position to maybe strike. He's done a lot of damage to Stanislaw, down to 47. 15 seconds. Optic got to charge across onto the A side. Automatic is going to be able to be in hot pursuit up catwalk. The AWP, however, still free for Mixwell, as he will get picked off on the cross. It's all down to Stanislaw. Automatic's trying to tap his way to victory, and there's the spray! A 4K and clutch!
What a fantastic round from Automatic. That is insane. 4 kills. I'd written this round off at that point. Optic, they had everything going their way, but Automatic, this is what happens. That individual playmaking, all the difference. He saves the AWP for Skadoodle, and just this rock-solid defense on B. Mixwell didn't want to have anything to do with that, you're right. Excellent work from Automatic. He just saved it, and that's another huge round going Cloud9's way. 4-3, now they're in the lead. And due to that, they're going to be able to go for the buy. Nothing going for the P90. He watched CLG at the show match this last weekend.
Yeah, it's rough for Cloud9, even though they do get the clutch. They lost 4 players, and of course this is after ecoing for 2 rounds, so hence a fairly lacking buy. I mean, P90's nothing wrong with it, but in a map like Dust2, you have to play to that weapon's advantages and strengths. You can't be affording to pull a blade and try and snipe with an XM through Secret. I'm still not over that, by the way.
Yeah. I don't even. Incendiary on the catwalk, though. Let's see. Right now, Optic are worried about some kind of mid-take coming in here from Cloud9, delayed. There is a catwalk set up for Cloud9. And while Shroud is still holding over at long, but this is very standard stuff coming in here from Cloud9. We'll see this catwalk sort of scenario. Nothing, not going to get toasted. He's right on the edge. Skadoodle is there to bait for him. And Optic, even if they want to set up for the B split, once this smoke clears, they are going to want to try and take control of Catwalk, or at least clear it out. So there's a chance that this setup could work for Cloud9. It is a pretty nice trap.
Yeah, they're playing the weapons to the advantages, like kind of what we were talking about before. The P90 can be an absolute monster. We can see nothing's been flashed 3 or 4 times. He has to scamper away. And they may have heard the footsteps. Are they going to be expecting an AWP? Well, now they are. And Skadoodle goes back in for seconds. Typically, a lot of AWPs after he missed that first shot, he'll drop down just to be safe. He doesn't. Cost him his life. 25 seconds left, though. And Optic still aren't through onto a site.
2 smokes. That should be some decent information gained. Automatic is going to be able to rotate back over. Stewie is here with the UMP, however, and he's ready and waiting. Automatic is going to step in with him, and there's the trade. Again, the brick wall. Mixwell not going to be able to get through. Just barely in time. 7 HP, and he's going for broke. He's going for the point blank no scope, and that cost him in the end. They were too close, Cloud9. Shroud will be there. Again, only a single player surviving for Cloud9. But that was some flashy stuff there from Mixwell.
Yeah, and he pretty much had to fake the site. They had about 5 seconds left, and he knew they're both going to go all in on him, and he was low. So, I mean, in the dream world, they both peek door, and he gets the double kill with a no-scope, and we all go crazy and lose our minds. Not quite, but I like the idea. And now Optic right back into another buy. They are consistently getting kills, and they're consistently getting bomb plants. And that is good news in terms of keeping that economy ticking over. But in a round like this, they need to do something with it, and Shroud is going to punish Stanislaw, who went walkies with the bomb. Fortunately for him, the bomb drops favorably for his teammates, and they're able to run away with it.
Stewie holding mid, though. He's going to be looking for some kind of information. And they do manage to get up Catwalk. I'm not sure if he was close enough to hear the footsteps, but Shroud is in CT. Automatic is close on A slope as well. And I do like the decision here from Optic Gaming. They decided to go through together as a group. Stacked up. Automatic eats that flash, but he still manages to pick up a kill. Somehow Skadoodle's now got the angle. Easy shot for him, and he whiffs it. See if he can get the follow-up. No, Shroud robs him of both kills. Cloud9 starting to get that defense rolling. 6-3 now, extending their lead. And Optic, without a bomb plant in back-to-back rounds, they just don't have the economy to continue here. It is going to have to be pistols for them. And this is where Cloud9 can really start to take off.
There has been a map of sequences, 3 rounds apiece when it's rained, it's poured. But I think this is where that sequence gets broken. As you mentioned, Optic not in a position to get a decent buy, just pistols. Don't even have a Deagle, actually, and Deagle is kind of the go-to pistol on Dust2 because of the range. And that one-tap power at range as well. So this is a rough round, whichever way you shape it up. Looks like hyper-aggression is the call. That is the name of the play here for Optic.
Oh, good timing here by Scar. And there's the first shot. Spots out Tarek. Not going to get the follow-up. Didn't realize that Nafla had already crossed onto the site. And this is getting just a little sloppy. But they will succeed in getting the bomb plant here, Optic, and that's all that matters for them.
I mean, that really was their mission coming through into this round. They have landed it successfully, plus a bomb plant.
Plus a kill on Ska. But they saved the AWP, so it's not the end of the world. They should be able to actually feel pretty good about themselves here at Cloud9, that it didn't get more expensive. We've seen a lot of that today so far. I mean, and yesterday. Dignitas comes to mind as a team right now that is kind of struggling with anti-eco scenarios. But still, 7-3 Cloud9, and now Optic have the money to go for the buy. Mixwell should have enough for the AWP, but instead he's going to go for an AK. Full AK across the board here for Optic Gaming. No AWP. Very interesting. Double AWP in play for Cloud9, however.
Wonder if that suggests some kind of a set play going through later with heavy smoke coverage onto A. It's where the AKs can sort of just ramp through onto the enemy team. It's going to be all down to nothing.
And that was awkward.
A bit of damage, but yeah, he was kind of caught out in no man's land with his pants down. A bit unfortunate. But this is where the AKs could really be a nightmare for Cloud9. When they smoked across, it's going to put Skadoodle out of play. He's having to relocate because of the flashbangs anyway. This is asking a lot of him. Here comes a flashbang, goes out, nearly gets a 2-for-1, and gets another pop flash out, so the rest of his team now can start to batten down the hatches.
Dude, Scott's nade usage is sick. He's so on point. Stanislaw's going to find him in the end, but then that allows for Shroud to get up onto the site. Still have to find Stewie, though, and Tarek's going to get the kill on him for free, unfortunately. But it's still a 1-on-2, and Shroud is still alive. 50 seconds left, however, means that there is time for Optic to fall off this if they want to. They don't necessarily have to go for the push, And Shroud just barely going to spot out Nafly. Tarek making the run for it towards CT. As long as Naf is here to hold the line, it's perfectly fine. Nicely done there by Naf. But even then, Tarek was going to be able to make the run towards that B site. Still, got to give it to Ska. His nades, his flashes from those positions, man, he is on point. He is so fast.
And for a second there, I thought 3 players were going to line up for him because they all kind of went to the right-hand side of long. And he's just peering through with this scope. I was like, oh, God. But speaking of scopes, Mixwell plucks Stewie out of midair.
Oh, and now the ultra aggression over here at long as well. Optic not even changing up the boost onto blue. They set the trap. 3 players here, including the bomb outside of long. And Nafly making sure that there's no push in mid. Rush is in lower dark as well. So they're covering all the angles here, Optic. And Cloud9 at this point, they're like, well, what do we do now, boys? What is the setup? It's a catwalk setup for now, although nothing has dropped off to A slope. Skadoodle as well. They're just constricting here, Cloud9. Just gathering up, but it's about to be an all-out YOLO rush here up catwalk for Optic.
Can Skadoodle land shots? There's the first one, able to relocate as well with a flash. Going to be trying to spray down. It's going to be nothing with 2. Shroud is burning to a crisp, but still will make short work of Tarek. Mixwell's AWP has a lot of work to do here.
Full flash, and now he's got to get up there to catwalk as well. Nearly catches out Shroud, though. That would have been sick. They're hearing all the noise. They're hearing the nades. The angle isn't right, but Mixwell still just trying to buy as much time as possible to allow him to pick up this grenade. Or rather, this bomb. This big grenade. It's like a super grenade.
Gonna start to get that planted, but here come Cloud9, whiffing out on the opportunity.
Oh, he has no idea the Shroud is at his back, though. Automatic still going to get the kill, but Shroud was the security there for Cloud9. And what looked like such a promising situation, again for Optic, they aren't able to capitalize. That man advantage, that pick on Stewie to start things off, they just look completely defeated, Optic.
Yeah, staggering to me. It was the same when we were watching them in the previous map as well, but...
They look like a team that's just like, all right, let's get it over with. Let's not win this. They're just like, all right, we're just going through the motions.
Yeah. Almost like it's a 15-4 or something, you know, and it's pretty much already over.
You know, that sort of scenario, this, like, when you see a team like this, it's almost just like, yes, please give me rage. You know, better to see somebody raging than to see somebody just sitting there dejected.
Just some kind of emotion. Just something to work off. Stewie with the MP9. This is going to take down Mixwell and Tarek. Both headshots, of course.
Oh, and he's effectively blocked off Rush, who has the bomb in Upper Dark as well.
Yeah, this is so poor for Optic. How is he still alive? How is he still alive? Stewie! Finally, justice has been served as he goes down. A lot of damage onto automatic, but nothing has his back. And I'll Rush with Stewie's MP9. He's trying to channel some of that magic.
Oh, nothing's been boosted up on a catwalk as well. Easily done. He did get the headshot on nothing. Nice attempt there by Rush, but it's not going to be good enough. 9-4, and Cloud9 running away with this first half. There's, I mean, tough scenario here for Optic. Even when it looks like they have an edge in the round, they aren't able to capitalize. They aren't able to get the job done. And so now they have 2 rounds left here to try and salvage something in this first half. If they can end it 9-6 and win the pistol in the second half, we can still be going into a close match here, but they need to wake up. Ska, full flash, trying to back off, but Automatic is going to take a fight with Stanislaw and win it at top mid. Nafly is going to go ahead and trade right through the smoke, though. Irreverent.
Rip Mixwell. Carpet of Fire has been placed down on mid. Stops the push for a few more seconds, but with the smoke on the CT side, Optic still have their sights trained on B, and it's going to be Stewie again. Going to go for that first spray. His days are numbered, whether it was Nafly, whether it was the players coming out of door. He was dead either way. Nothing will shut down Nafly, and the bomb planted now. Another 2-on-2. And there is a little bit to work with here. There's a flashbang, and Skadoodle's still alive alongside nothing.
They have no idea where the second man is, it would seem. They knew where 2 of them were, but it is just going to be nothing. Fully committing to this. He's managed to sneak his way through, but Tarek is going to spot him, and that settles it. Skadoodle, this would be one of the most ridiculous clutches, and it's just not going to happen. Rush will find the kill. 9-5 now, Optic. One more round, 1 round closer. And well, Cloud9, I mean, they've been very good, very confident about picking up those kinds of clutch situations so far across both maps. This time, finally, one of them goes Optic's way. And it's just the force buy coming out here from Cloud9. Double up. Why not? Let's go. Time to party, and it's looking like very early long aggression coming in here from Mixwell and Stanislaw. No time wasted, and so far it's a 1-for-1.
Skadoodle does get the pick onto Stanislaw as well, and Mixwell is already low. Nothing will finish him off. So they started with a couple of pistols. They've already traded it out to an extra rifle in the hands of Nothing with the AK-47. And the meanwhile, flashbang in the eyes of Skadoodle stops him from getting it on the cross.
How many flashbangs do they have? He was just permanently white.
Another one goes off. This time it just glances him more than anything else. Bomb planted, but as soon as that smoke clears, Cloud9 will start to strike. Or maybe beforehand. Stewie 2K's landed onto that fly. Stewie 2K with yet another one. Rush, what can he get done? Nothing is the answer, and indeed the assailant. 10-5 at half-time. Optic, they're struggling.
A double-digit first half. And I love it. It's like double op, go for it. Youngstu just doing damage right now. And what are the stats looking like? I mean, the automatic has certainly had a fine first half. Stewie's in double digits as well. I mean, this is very balanced from top to bottom. I mean, Skadoodle is trailing a little bit, but then again, I mean, that really means that automatic hasn't had much there.
Look at that body language, man.
I know, man. This is tough. It's tough. You can feel their pain.
They almost look exhausted to me, like super, super tired, just not there fully.
They do.
It's sad to see.
Let's pan through the entire team if we can, please. Like, just don't just focus on the one guy.
Get wrecked.
Well, I mean, we got a yeah.
It is a pretty stage, to be fair.
It is a pretty stage. It's very like, you know, everything is pointing to that trophy. That trophy that if Optic continue to play like this, we'll have no chance of getting. All right, maybe that was a bit harsh, but it is a pretty cool stage. Definitely give them that. You can see us in our little box container as well. What's up, everybody? I mean, there really isn't too much to talk about, really. I mean, when it comes to that, it's a lot of clutch rounds going Cloud9's way, a lot of players just hitting their shots, and Optic looking like they've just defeated themselves. Nice flash there to start things off. That's going to force Mixwell off the angle, and Cloud9 not wasting any time at all to follow-up flash as well. Excellently timed. They're giving ground. They have a smoke. Skadoodle has the smoke to block off CT. And unless Tarek gets lucky with some spam, basically. Oh, well, there was a gap. It's not a perfect smoke. But still, Cloud9 hardly taking any damage at all, moving up onto the bomb site.
This is where the kit's going to have to come good for Optic, because that bomb will be getting planted momentarily. They're doing a lot of damage onto Catwalk. Stanislaw's down to 9. Bomb planted. Not for short, so they can hide behind the box now. Here come the CTs. Shroud, point blank range, delivers one headshot, but that's probably all he's going to get from this round. Mixwell, in the meanwhile, is still alive alongside Rush. But it's going to be a case of the CTs getting completely ripped apart. The last 2 kills came in the space of like a millisecond there. It's pretty rough.
Yeah, just to remind you all, this is a battle for 2nd seed in the group. 3rd seed, there is none. You're going home if you take 3rd. And so right now, Cloud9, it looked shaky yesterday versus Renegades. Renegades played well. Renegades took the battle for 1st seed. Cloud9, however, are just, I mean, right now they're just powering through. It's like that 2nd seed is fated to be theirs. This is excellent work so far. No, this isn't the battle for 2nd seed. What am I saying? This is the battle for losers. This gives you a chance. Right, this is the loser match that gives you a chance at 2nd seed. Just to make it clear, you're going home if you lose this one.
Exactly, it's the elimination match. So if Optic were to lose this map, they're done. They're out alongside Dignitas, which I'm still pretty shocked to be saying, but there you go. Cloud9, one of the other favorites, trying to make amends for their loss yesterday on this very map, 16-14 against Renegades. In terms of this round, it started pretty solidly. That flies down low. 3 Deagles. Sometimes doesn't matter a great deal about how much health you have. If you just deliver a quick fire headshot, it can turn the tides of battle very quickly in your favor. But Cloud9, they're playing this one very slowly.
They really are taking their time. They don't want to throw this away. They don't want another, well, I mean, what happened on Overpass to happen. Like, they just want to lock it down, keep cool, group up, and move up Catwalk. I mean, there is overlapping fields of fire here for Optic Gaming. I do like that, but the flash is effective. It's going to force them off, and now it's going to be a little bit chaotic. Mixwell looking for the headshot, and he's not quite going to find it. Stewie takes out his teammate. In the meantime, there's the incendiary going to force Mixwell out into the open. He has to take the fight now, and he's not going to get anything done apart from a tag. Nothing. Cleaning house on Catwalk. 2 kills for him. Very quickly done. And that leaves Rush all by his lonesome over here at Longhouse. Gets to ponder life, the meaning of Shroud with the MAC-10 is going to run into him in a minute. Nothing has got his back. So Rush shouldn't be making it out of here too long.
Unfortunate to turn around. Doesn't really make a great deal of difference anyway. Cloud9 will retain 3 SMGs. And this has another eco written all over it, so there's no reason for them to trade out any of those SMGs. But they are going to have Stewie on the AK and actually trade out with automatic. So Stewie's going to be holding onto the AK for the time being.
Why not? Give it to young Stu. Oh, no. Cloud9, are you really going to go for the B rush? Yes. Do it. It's perfect. Optic, nothing is going right for Optic. Even when they go for the gamble and stack long, guess what? Cloud9 are going for a B rush. Get wrecked.
I can't fault Optic. I actually like when teams go for this. Obviously, it's a gamble, but the alternative is you've basically got standard USPs and P2000s against weapons. Just unfortunate. They rolled the dice. They got snake eyes on this occasion.
You're right. It's exactly that. Sometimes you got to go for the gamble, but man, like Optic just cannot come out ahead today versus Cloud9 in any of these fights. Nothing with a little bit of a tap there is going to pick up one. Oh, and another headshot on Nafly. It's just like the parting gift. Automatic is getting closer as well. He's got his own UMP, finds the kill on Rush.
And the thing is, the Optic aren't getting a great deal of kills out of these eco rounds either, so there's no kind of money being set aside to the funds in terms of grenades into this next one. So they're going to have assault rifles, but a lack of nades is going to force them onto a UMP instead for Stanislaw, just to get some more nades under their belt. And only one kit. No AWP, no scout. I mean, this is almost as rough as it gets as far as the CTs are concerned.
Not a huge fan of this play here from Cloud9, though. You got 8,000 in the bank. Just buy an AK.
Seems greedy, really.
Back-to-back B rushes, though. Okay, then. Tarek is going to be there. Stanislaw as well, and they just run right into the blender this time, Cloud9. Tarek is going to get overwhelmed, and somehow they bring it back to a 2-on-2. How is this possible? Stewie gets the flash on Rush as well. That's going to mess things up for them. And now both players for Cloud9 managed to actually get it to work on the B site. Unbelievable.
This looked done. As soon as they rushed into the UMP and the spray came in, I thought, okay, well, Cloud9 have lost this. Back to the drawing board. They got plenty of money to bounce back with, but this could be their round still. Optic could still regain the site. They got a flashbang. If it's positioned correctly or perfectly, this could be the round slipping away. And here we go. They both come in with frags.
Was there a little bit of miscommunication there as to who was holding which angle? That's interesting. Both of them seem to be looking at doors in that sort of scenario. I'm guessing Automatic was counting on his teammate to watch his back there at window.
Yeah, the window player like pushed forward towards the door, and I think at that point, when the CTs came up behind him in the smoke, it's kind of unfortunate, but again, gambling for that play doesn't quite pay off. Still a bomb plant and a few kills, keeps Optic at arm's reach, and Cloud9 now can jump on top of this AWP buy for Skadoodle.
Exactly. I mean, they had the money in the bank as well. It's not end days here for Cloud9. That bonus money as well. Not going to quite make it, though, unfortunately for him. No targets there, Skadoodle. He did have the spawn. He had a great timing as well. But the Incendiary is going to cut it short. And, well, back to mid control here for Cloud9. Not even really leaving anybody behind on long. It seems like this might be a very quick cat play here. 3, 4 players setting up. Flash is going to be opening things up. Ska's got the angle now. Not going to spot anybody because Mixwell and Rush are focused so much on long. Mixwell close enough to hear the footsteps, though. So that is interesting. But this is shaping up very quickly to be an A retake scenario here for Optic. Shroud is going to commit. Automatic, Stewie, Skadoodle just charging forward to take the site. Nothing holding the rear.
Yeah, this retake will have full assault rifles, but I do worry a little bit for Optic, because Skadoodle's going to be able to plant his feet firmly on the ground and start to deliver with the AWP. Nothing in the meanwhile. Oh, lands the headshot onto Stanislaw. Just with a quick fire double tap on a second. And a third as well. Nothing taking this round away from Optic, making Canadian bacon out of them. And it's all too easy. And this is after Optic have finally got decent rifle round.
Oh, I know, right? Now they're going to get stuck here. Cloud9 are going to be more than happy to go and hunt for him. Stewie's going to find one. Shroud railroads the last one. Rush done. It is a 14-6 scoreline right now. Cloud9 are set up to take this home and to go on into the second seed match. Nothing, though. Fantastic work from him holding the line here on Catwalk. That's impressive.
That first shot was disgusting. Wow. And he really has been landing into a nice, rich vein of form recently. I think he got 23, 24 kills in the first map. He's on 22 right now. Automatic's just one above him on 23. And Skadoodle through the doors.
Back-to-back wall bangs.
Optic just can't catch a break. Cloud9 refusing to stop. Oh, Nafly, hello. That was out of nowhere. 2 taps with the Deagle is going to silence both Nothing and Automatic. So maybe Optic aren't out of this just yet.
Yeah, he's showing some fight. He's at half HP, and he's got 3 kills so far. Skadoodle only just now making it over to the cross. But Stanislaw, unfortunately for him, is going to get caught out by Stewie. So it really is on Naf. Are you going to be the hero? Get that ace, win this round. We shall see. Skadoodle not quite planning out in the open, but young Stu is going to stand his ground, take the fight. He's not interested. Look at that. He doesn't care about your hopes and dreams, Naf. He's here to have a good time.
Infectious smile. You can't help but be happy when you see it. Optic, in the meanwhile, just... Where do they go from here, Sam? Is there any hope? Is there any chance?
I'm not going to lie to you. It's pretty slim here, Metas. It's looking pretty grim for Optic. They're even going to go for the stack. The NOA tower at mid doors. Shroud just barely making it out of harm's way, but they do know that there's a man in pit. And so it's up to Mixwell now with the Deagle to make some magic happen. He's going for the spray, and he's actually going to be able to pick up one. So a 1-for-1 trade here at Long. Naf and Rush rotating over as quickly as possible. The Cloud9 have not committed anything yet to this push.
Optic in 2 maps have only been able to lock down 14 rounds. 16-8 the first map scoreline. 16-6 potentially. I might be speaking ahead. But to be fair, when you consider there's just 3 pistols and a scout up against an open 3 AKs, it doesn't bode well for Optic. Long control taken again. The meanwhile, Stewie is going to be lurking around the other side of the map on B tunnels. And the CTs just pretty much have to play this one passively for the time being with their pistols. They may go out and look for some information, but this could end up doing more harm than good. Oh, they've misread this completely. They're going to B. That's heartbreaking.
Oh, no. And then Rush gets picked for free. Yes, you're right. This is heartbreaking. Stewie's going to spot the rotation, but not before Skadoodle's going to find his pick on Tarek. And that pretty much snuffs it here. Nafly and Stanislaw, the last 2 alive, and Stewie going for the tap war at top mid. He's just looking hungry for a fight. He's even going to get the kill. Stanislaw, he's going to get caught out, of course. It's going to be young Stu to end it here for Cloud9. 16-6 on the second map. A 2-0 clear victory for Cloud9. No struggle. Definitely thought there was going to be a closer match between the two, but Cloud9 showed up today. This is the kind of team that can win tournaments.
And this is why we were so surprised yesterday when they got knocked out by Renegades down to the lower bracket, because if they showed up like this, I have no doubts they would have been victorious there. They've been looking so good lately. Pretty much everyone on their team was showing up at different stages. Skadoodle was landing some tasty shots. Stewie was a beast. Nothing continued to impress. Automatic. Everybody was there. And when they play like this, there's very few teams can stand toe-to-toe with them.
Yeah, there's just such a... Like, they have the firepower, especially, I think... You can always look to Stewie, you can always look to Automatic, right? They're pretty consistent now. But it's Nothing. When Nothing, for example, shows up, he doesn't need to be the one landing, you know, flash triple kill rounds like that, holding off the back line, you know. But when he shows up as well, it's just another layer that Cloud9 get to fall back on. The fact that they do have Nothing, that they do have Skadoodle. This is what that team is capable of. They can just run through opponents, literally, like Shroud did at the end. There you go.
How do you deal with that for Optic? I mean, they looked ejected and they've now been knocked out. So congratulations to Cloud9. They moved through 2-0. I thought that would very well go down to a third mapper. Not the case.
I thought so as well. I thought it was going to be very back and forth. And I guess some journalists out there are going to have they're going to have to get their claws into Optic and actually try and have a talk with them, because that did not look like a team that was a unit, like there was any team spirit there whatsoever. Something must be going on right now with the roster, because they just didn't look like they were in the game at any point, even after the first round of the first map.
Which is surprising, because lately they haven't been bad. They've been looking better and better. They look to be going strength to strength. You know, they've had some decent results, especially online, but it doesn't necessarily transition across the LAN.
All right, well, we're going to hear from Cloud9 at least now and find out just how good it feels to completely crush their NA optimism. I was so close. Opposition in 2 maps. Smix, save me. It's all you.
Thank you very much, Semler. Before we ask your question, and Jordan, it's I was gonna say the view looks quite different from the 20 million other times I interviewed you.
Is something different, you said? I didn't hear what you just asked. I'm not gonna lie.
I was just saying the view looked a little bit different than the other times.
I grew, and growth spurt was late, and I've been drinking a lot of milk.
Milk Boys. Anyway, as Semler just asked, he wanted to know how great does it feel to crush through your NA opponent?
Yeah, obviously feels great. Optic is a team that could go far in this tournament. It sucks that we had to face each other now. Is what it is with the GSL format. So yeah, tough luck to them, and I'm proud of the team for playing well.
And how did the team look after the loss against Renegades yesterday? I know that it must have been disappointing for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the difference between winning and losing sometimes could be so small. And, you know, we're playing so many tournaments right now, and when you don't get the results you want, the frustration can build up fast. So we talked about it a lot, but we also tried not to, like, overanalyze the loss. It's literally just us being focused and being ready from round one. We have a lot of issues with that. I could be included in that. Everyone kind of just sometimes from round one, I don't know if you've noticed the last like 7 or 8 times with our CT sides, we started out like down, except from this series today. We started out down like 6-1, and then we get back into it. So, you know, we're not going to win anything big playing like that. So I'm glad we came out strong from the start in these matchups.
And coming after the high of you guys winning Brazil, since then you went to the grand finals at iBuyPower, lost then to Immortals, and then unfortunately at Oaklands dropped out in groups. So coming into this tournament, how is the team feeling overall?
Well, just to say this, not necessarily as an excuse, because everyone deals with this, but no one really has had time to sit back and practice. I said this in an interview at Oakland. We lost those games, one in overtime and one 16-14 to FaZe and NIP respectively. They outplayed us, but the small difference there is us getting out of groups and maybe giving us more momentum, and maybe we do better there and we don't even have this conversation. So I think sometimes it's such a small difference that without getting to sit back and practice, it's hard to always... I don't know, depending on the type of team, too. I think with our team, with Stu's doing a great job with strat calling, but he's got a lot on his shoulders. So to be able to step back and us all give him input at home, I think that's kind of necessary for our team. So I think that's kind of what we're going through right now.
So as you're mentioning this crazy sort of schedule that your team is going through, obviously it means that Stewie and your team needs to learn how to not only deal with the constant schedule, but learn how to adapt and sort of adapt to that busy schedule and be able to perform. So in terms of that, how do you feel that C9 is adapting?
I think we're doing pretty good. Honestly, with this lineup, it's the first time we're really faced this challenge. When you're at this level, unless you're chaining lineup constantly, you need to kind of revisit your strategies every 3 to 4 months. So this is kind of the point we're hitting right now, where we don't necessarily need to change everything, but we need to know that people know what we're doing in certain regards. Not everything, but in certain regards. And we need to add to our game and keep it fresh. Keep Tyler moving around. Keep me lurking in different ways. Keep Stewie doing different plays. So in that regards, we just got to do it.
Now, last but not least, Dignitas earlier, also in a massive upset, were eliminated from the tournament. A lot of people considered them the favorites, but now they're gone. So what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, right now our job is to focus on Gambit. That's our next matchup. They're not a team to be taken lightly. Blade has a lot of strategic experience. Zeus has a lot of leadership. They got some wild players. World Edit goes off a lot, and other guys on the team do well. So got to focus on that matchup first, and then after that would be Godsent, and they're another team that we can't assume anything about.
All right, well, congratulations again, Jordan. Always a pleasure. And of course, with that, Optic is eliminated. But with that, C9 will hold on to their tournament lifeline.
Couple of roster moves, their little insight into that from Jordan, but also a very insightful interview, as it always does seem to be with Nothing. Not only did he have a fantastic performance in-game, fantastic performance in that interview, we learned a lot about Cloud9 and this constant pressure to evolve your game. And I think just before we do talk about the best of 3 with 1K and Moses, let's just, while that's fresh in our minds, let's talk about it, because it's interesting that he feels that, his words, 3 to 4 months we have to re-strat, or at least rehash our strategies. Do you think that kind of makes sense? It's just turns things fresh?
Well, absolutely. Otherwise, it makes it easy for your opponents to anti-strat you, to look to find tendencies, to find patterns in your play, and then use that against you. You need to come back and say, okay, we've been winning. Even if you're winning constantly, okay, we've been winning, but is there anything? Just like you would watch your opponents, right? You watch your own game and see, wow, every time like we're in a 5v4, we maybe, go for the B bomb sets or something like that. Then you find it and you say, okay, let's try and mix it up for the future.
It's also just a way to diversify like the strats you run. Like if you have some kind of an execute that's working well on the A bomb site and you know people have to respect it, then all of a sudden you can set it up with similar smoke, similar setup, similar build up to that execution point, and just change some of the flashbangs. Instead of looking at this corner, you look at a different corner, and then you find ways to catch people off guard. And then it just adds another wrinkle, because then you can always go back to that original one as well. You know both of them, so I mean it just gives you a little bit more diversity in these matches where sometimes you run into a wall.
And that's a perfect example of when we refer to teams having depth. When we talk to strategic depth, that's what we are alluding to. Is it's not necessarily a huge change that does give you that extra step against your opponent. And I mean, Cloud9 most definitely had it in this scenario, right? I mean, Optic Gaming falling in 2, not managing to get a single double-digit score in the 2 maps of play. And you called it, Yanko. You said 2-0 to Cloud9. We did see that faith in Cloud9 justified in this one. Doubt for Optic, was that what we saw? We just underperformance from the second NA team?
Yeah, I think the second map was pretty clear cut, but the first one could have been a lot closer. There were a lot of clutch situations, especially in the first half, but I think Cloud9 did a great job in those rounds to have the composure. I think Skadoodle did a great job in those rounds. Really, most of them he was on the rifle as well, but yeah, great play by Cloud9 in those rounds. Even though they were maybe a man down coming into the after plan, they managed to claw their way out of it.
Yeah, I think it's, I mean, yeah, a good play from Cloud9. I think it's just more disappointing for Optic. I don't think that's the Optic that showed up against G2, for instance, in Northern Arena. I think that should have been a much better, especially on Dust2, when you consider the talent they have. Mixed well with the AWP, Tarek, his style as well, those two guys. I mean, Dust2 should be a map where you can use that talent, because, I mean, actually, if you look at the Optic roster from top to bottom, like all 5 players, I actually think there's more talent on Optic. It's just once, Stewie and Automatic are obviously clear-cut. I think they're the 2 probably best players in the server. But like after that, I don't see anyone on Cloud9, Shroud, nothing, Skadoodle that are necessarily like far and above the rest of the Optic players. So you think there should have been some ability for some of that skill on Optic to shine. And they just got shut down.
Yeah, and actually what's interesting is we'll start the discussion or return this discussion to Dust2, even though it was the second map of the series, purely because there was a point made, and it was an intriguing kind of comparison that they said. In fact, it was Jordan who said CT side Dust2 is incredibly difficult. I may be
Renegades.
It was Renegades.
Yeah, against Renegades.
It was Yam. Yeah, there we are. There I am with Yam. Yeah, he did. It was like they got 4 rounds on Dust2 previously, Cloud9. Now they turn up with 10 versus Optic. Was there a complete difference this time as to last time? I mean, double-digit CT side.
I mean, I think the biggest issue you have with like Yam saying that isn't that the Dust2 CT side, in my opinion, isn't exactly difficult. But when you're Renegades and you want to have a double op setup, I think that's where it gets difficult.
Okay.
If you're going to rely on a double op setup, then all of a sudden your economy is in such a precarious position at all times, because you have a lot of investment into each round, and if you just get reset, then it gets harder to get back on track. Cloud9, I mean, I just don't think there was a game plan from the Optic side of things that was that effective.
It's not just that, it's also the fact to have like a good start. Renegades in that game didn't have a good start on their CT side. Cloud9 had this time around, so obviously allows you to be more aggressive. You have more room to work with. I think another fact is that they won some of the retakes that they probably shouldn't have, right? When they were at a disadvantage. And sure, it's great individual play from them on one hand, but I also agree with Jason. I think Optic underperformed in this game significantly, individually missing some shots and just not playing as a unit as much as they probably should have.
What are you giggling at?
I said it with Renegades. I hate these 5-on-5 retakes that occur, especially considering like Optic had that one where all 5 members are alive and none of them have taken a point of damage. Like there was just no challenge to Cloud9 getting into the bomb site.
You know who else does that?
You're about to say someone who's really, really good, aren't you?
Mouseports.
Oh, well, yeah, never mind. Well, I thought you were just going to drop bombshell on me, but yeah, I mean, maybe there's something to this.
5v5 retake.
I wouldn't kill your point.
No, but yeah, you know who does that? SK.
It would be like, yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's like, well, all right. See
I
you guys
tried.
later.
Yeah. Well, we'll check it out, that one. Just have a quick look at that scoreboard. It's worth doing, especially considering that we did talk about the hot and cold nothing, and this time he most definitely was hot. Closing in on 50 frags in just 2 maps, and that ADR close to 100.
Not bad.
Not bad at all. And actually, do take note that though there are only 38 frags to Stewie 2K's name, he had the highest ADR on the server by quite a large margin, alongside nothing, 102 ADR from Stewie, and so doing the damage even if it isn't translating into directly to kills.
Yeah, I mean, one of the areas that I think Stewie's a little bit underrated as well is his usage of utility. It doesn't get brought up too well. I think he's very good nade usage, but I mean that's what you want from an entry fragger. Stewie is like not always going to have the most kills despite being like a big name on this team. But the fact that he's going in first and doing that damage, trades come easier. Maybe later in the round, a cleanup kill is much easier. Like on a rotator, on a retake, someone can't do everything they need to do when they retake a bomb site. So very impressive stuff.
I always feel like it's necessary as well to clarify for any newer viewers, ADR is average damage per round. It's one of the statistics we prefer just to demonstrate.
And it's capped at 100. So if you do 444 damage with a headshot with the op, it counts as 100.
Thank you. Yes, which actually did take some getting used to for me. Otherwise, it would get a little bit ridiculous. Yeah, Mixwell's got 900 damage per round.
That's not too bad.
Wow, incredible. But just to reflect upon the scoreboard, just one final point I wanted to make was that we didn't talk about the Skadoodle factor of Cloud9, and he wasn't necessarily the winning factor. He's not. We know we sometimes outline win conditions for Cloud9 as Scar has to go off or Stewie and Automatic, and Automatic was relatively, in the middle of the pack, and Skadoodle was at the bottom, and still Cloud9 get a very convincing win.
Yeah, but they had good rounds.
Yeah.
Automatic, especially in the second map on the CT side. I mean, that 1v2, then they were doing a great job holding B. Again, with Stewie on the retake towards A when they had to come into play. So they had impact, both players. I think more so in clutch rounds than anything else, and it was Jordan and Stewie who got, the brute amount of kills.
Yeah. Big stuff from them. I mean, good to see Nothing firing on all cylinders. We'll see if he can continue to do so, though, because it's by no means done. We can bring up the groups just to kind of demonstrate what's coming up next. And it is that game right on the far right of Group A. We venture back to Group A. This was a Group B losers match. However, that has concluded.
I was actually surprised there for a second. I didn't see Dignitas' name. I thought someone made a mistake. That's heartbreaking.
Gosh, yeah.
You made a mistake.
A brief reminder that we did wave goodbye to Dignitas.
So brutal.
So brutal. Renegades and Godsend are sitting there putting their feet up like, thank God they dodged a bullet.
Yeah.
All these upsets that have been going on in day one and now leading into day two, it's just that leaving that dream that we're already in the semi-finals. That best of one win route to semi-finals is just such a luxury afforded to very few teams, and Renegades and Godsend did manage to do so. Up next, though, and this has been described as a bit of a surprise in more reasons than one, is a team getting to the semi-finals. One more team to go ahead and get themselves that spot in the semi-finals, at least prior to our last game. And it was going to be Team Kingwin, already surprised, picked up the first best of one win versus Dignitas, and they're going up against Flipside. That's right. Not only, it's basically the two teams that have surprised and picked up the results versus Dignitas are now looking for a spot in the semis. There is a reason to get excited about this one. Do you think Flipside can genuinely translate this, Jason? Do you think Flipside can do what they did versus Dignitas again?
I'd almost say that they'd be favorites in this matchup, to be honest with you, over Kingwin.
There you go. Something to look forward to for the guys at home. We will be taking a break, but when we do return, we're going to be looking at how Team Kingwin and Flipside is going to go down. A full best of 3, whether it will go to 3 maps, is a different question altogether, and we'll be answering it with our analysts after a short break.